Have you ever felt unlovable, like you weren't good enough? That deep, sinking feeling that no one could ever truly care about you? This feeling can creep into our hearts, leaving us feeling small and alone. It whispers doubts in our ears and makes us question our worth. The world can be a harsh place, filled with judgment and expectations. We often compare ourselves to others, focusing on our flaws and shortcomings. This can create a deep sense of inadequacy, a feeling that we are somehow broken or unworthy of love. But what if there was another way to see ourselves? What if we could look beyond our imperfections and understand our true value? The Bible offers a radical and life-changing perspective. We are loved deeply and unconditionally by God. This love isn't based on our performance or our ability to earn it. It's a gift, freely given to each one of us. This message of hope and acceptance can change everything. Feeling unlovable is like carrying a heavy weight on our shoulders. It drags us down, affecting every aspect of our lives. Our self-esteem plummets, leaving us feeling insecure and unsure of ourselves. We may withdraw from relationships, fearing rejection, or believing we're not worthy of connection. The weight of unworthiness can even impact our mental and emotional well-being, leading to anxiety, depression, and a sense of hopelessness. We were created for love and belonging. When we feel unlovable, it cuts us off from our very core. It creates a void that can be difficult to fill. The emotional pain of feeling unlovable can be overwhelming. Yet, amidst these struggles, the Bible offers a beacon of hope. It reminds us that we are not defined by our flaws or mistakes, but by the unwavering love of our Creator. In the pages of the Bible, we discover a God who sees beyond our imperfections and loves us unconditionally. This love isn't fleeting or conditional. It's a constant and unwavering presence in our lives, no matter what we do or don't do. The Bible teaches us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, each one of us a masterpiece in God's eyes. This truth has the power to transform our lives from the inside out. It allows us to shed the weight of unworthiness and step into the freedom of knowing we are loved. No longer do we need to strive for acceptance or prove our worth. We can rest in the knowledge that we are already fully known and fully loved. This love story unfolds throughout the Bible, offering hope and encouragement to every heart that has ever felt the sting of rejection or the pain of unworthiness. The Bible is filled with verses that speak of God's unconditional love. These verses aren't just words on a page, they are powerful declarations of truth that can change the way we see ourselves and the world around us. Here are a few examples. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. John chapter 3, verse 16. This verse reminds us that God's love for us is so great that he sacrificed his own Son for our salvation. It's a love that knows no bounds. 1 John chapter 3, verse 1 says, "See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called children of God, and so we are." The reason why the world does not know us is that it did not know him. As children of God, we are heirs to his love and all that comes with it. We are chosen, cherished, and deeply loved. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. 1 John chapter 4, verse 7. We are not defined by our past mistakes or our perceived flaws. We are God's special possession, set apart for his purposes. These verses, and countless others, paint a beautiful picture of God's love for us. It's a love that heals, restores, and transforms. The Prodigal Son, a portrait of unconditional love. One of the most powerful stories in the Bible that illustrates God's unconditional love is the parable of the prodigal son. In this story, a young man demands his inheritance and then squanders it on wild living. When he hits rock bottom, he decides to return home, expecting to be met with anger and rejection. But his father doesn't hesitate. He runs to meet his son, embracing him with open arms. There's no condemnation, no judgment, only overwhelming joy and forgiveness. This parable perfectly captures the heart of God. No matter how far we've strayed, no matter what mistakes we've made, God is always waiting to welcome us back with open arms. His love never fails. Embracing imperfection is one of the most liberating truths we can embrace, that God's love is not based on our perfection. He doesn't love us because we're good or because we've earned it. He loves us simply because we are His. This means we can stop striving for a love we already have. We can lay down the burden of trying to be perfect and embrace the freedom of being fully known and fully loved. We are all a work in progress. We will stumble, we will fall, but God's love remains constant. He sees our potential even when we can't see it ourselves. He believes in us even when we doubt. His love is a safe haven, a place where we can be ourselves, flaws and all. Love's transforming power. When we truly grasp the depth of God's love for us, it changes everything. We begin to see ourselves differently, not through the lens of our flaws, but through the eyes of love. Our self-worth is no longer dependent on external validation or our own achievements. It's rooted in the unshakable truth that we are loved by God. This newfound sense of worth empowers us to live differently. We are free to love others more fully, without fear of rejection or the need to control. We can forgive ourselves and others more readily, recognizing that we are all flawed individuals in need of grace. God's love has the power to heal our deepest wounds, mend broken relationships, and set us free to live authentically and joyfully. God's love is life-changing. Living in the light of God's love is a daily choice. It's about choosing to believe in His love for us, even when we don't feel it. It's about replacing negative self-talk with God's truth. Instead of focusing on our flaws, we can choose to focus on His love and His promises. This doesn't mean our struggles disappear overnight, but it does mean we face them with a renewed sense of hope and purpose. We know that we are not alone in our struggles. We have a God who loves us unconditionally and will never leave us nor forsake us. When we stumble, His grace is there to lift us up. When we doubt, His love reminds us of our true worth. We are loved, and that changes everything. Breaking free from the chains of unworthiness. Feeling unlovable can feel like being trapped in a prison of our own making. We build walls around our hearts, convinced that we are not worthy of love or belonging. But God's love has the power to break down those walls, brick by brick. It sets us free from the lies that hold us captive and invites us to step into the fullness of who we were created to be. When we allow God's love to penetrate our hearts, we begin to see ourselves as He sees us, loved, forgiven, and full of potential. We no longer need to define ourselves by our past mistakes or our perceived shortcomings. We are free to embrace our true identity as beloved children of God. This freedom is a gift freely given to all who are willing to receive it. A love that never fails. In a world that often feels conditional, God's love stands as a beacon of hope and constancy. It's a love that never fails, never gives up, and never lets us go. No matter what we've done or how far we've strayed, His love remains. It's a love that pursues us relentlessly, whispering words of hope and encouragement into our hearts. When all else seems lost, we can cling to the promise of God's unwavering love. It's a love that heals, restores, and renews. It's a love that transforms us from the inside out, making us more like Him. This love is the greatest gift we could ever receive. Finding your true identity. The journey of discovering God's love is a journey of self-discovery. As we dive deeper into His Word and experience His love in different ways, we begin to understand our true identity. We are not defined by our past, our mistakes, or our perceived flaws. We are defined by the one who loves us most. We are His masterpiece, created with purpose and intention. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, each one of us unique and special in His eyes. When we embrace this truth, we step into the fullness of who we were created to be. We live with confidence, knowing that we are loved, accepted, and cherished. This is the transformative power of God's love. It sets us free to live authentically, embracing our true identity as beloved children of God.